He and Garry shares his quote-unquote list for 2024. He posted this to his Instagram. At the end of the video, when the camera focuses in on the names, it says Jeff, Neo, Colby Covington, and Sean, assuming that means Sean Strickland. After his unanimous decision loss to Gilbert Burns back in April, Jorge Masvidal announced his retirement from MMA. It looks like Jorge has already come out of retirement. Last night he tweeted unretired. What do you guys think is next for Jorge? Do you think he will do MMA or boxing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Daniel Cormier gives his take on Aljamain Sterling's featherweight debut against Calvin Kattar at UFC 300. DC says with this fight, Aljo will know right away if he belongs in the division or not.
Dude, everybody wants to fight. Everybody wants to fight. And it's great fights and ideal for us as fans of mixed martial arts. Aljamain Sterling's going to 145. He's taking on Calvin Kattar. Good matchup. That's going to be a very good introduction into that weight class because Calvin Kattar is a big 145 pounder. And he's going to test him in all the areas that he needs to be tested to see if he can compete up there. Calvin's a good wrestler. He has tremendous boxing. He's got good jiu-jitsu skills, and he's unbelievably tough. So this is going to let Aljamain know right away, whether he can stay at 145 and compete with those guys. It's been good. It's been a good week. A lot of news, a lot of stuff coming out. Hell, Christmas Day, Dana White announced some amazing fights for the UFC.
Paul Felder and Michael Chiesa doubt that Paddy Pimblett can beat any ranked lightweight after his performance against Tony Ferguson. On UFC Rundown, Felder said, "I will start with this. Of course he can. We know that it's MMA, anything can happen. But if we're going to sit here and make bets, and if I had to predict, no, I really don't think so. I mean, he struggled to get a Tony out of there who looked the worst he's ever looked in his career. I really don't think so. He was able to hurt Tony a little bit, but he really should have been able to put him away, man. Not taking anything against him, he knew he was going to be in for a hard one, even if he won this fight. He said it at Media Day that they were going to criticize him even if he wins, and didn't go out there and maybe get him out of there. Here we are criticizing him." Michael Chiesa said, "I'm telling you now, right now at this point in time, he can. He can. If you are going to say the best guy he has a shot against, let's just take the low-hanging fruit and say the oldest guy. You were talking about Drew Dober and Bobby Green. Well, leave your chin up against Drew Dober. You're getting caught with a left hand. Bobby Green might style on you." Dan Hooker doubts that Islam Makhachev will ever rematch Arman Tsarukyan. Islam fought Arman back in 2019. Islam won via unanimous decision. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Dan said, yeah, they had a pretty close fight in the first one. Yeah, Tsarukyan could beat him. Islam's not going to fight him. I guarantee he'll retire by the time Arman gets there, for sure. It's too risky. There's too much risk. There's too many other easier fights out there that he'd rather fight. There's easier fights out there stylistically. There's bigger names. No one's going to buy an Arman Tsarukyan pay-per-view. Come on. No one's tuning into the press conference. No one's giving $80 for the pay-per-view. You'd rather watch Islam fight Conor McGregor or Justin Gaethje or something like that. The audio of Sean Strickland on Theo Von's podcast came out. Here's the clip where Sean gets emotional when discussing his father and childhood trauma.
Like, I remember I was like in second grade, and I kept falling asleep at my desk, and my teacher took my desk away from me, and she made me like stand up. And so I'm like, F you, being a little kid, I just went and fell asleep on the ground. And mind you, like, the school system's like, oh, Sean, like, he's just a bad kid. They don't realize I'm up till 3 o'clock in the morning, like, you know, late. I mean, dude, I remember.
It's hard to stay up late and learn.
Dude, I remember, like, laying in bed. Like, I remember I stopped believing in God, man. Like, like, I had, yeah, it's crazy dude. Crazy
Yeah. It's okay, man. It's a lot of that's sad, dude. I used to be scared at night. Like, I used to stand up. Like, I heard when I was a kid that, like, if you peed around your, like, animals could pee somewhere that other animals wouldn't come. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Huh?
Yeah, man,
have you ever heard that? Yeah, I'm sorry, bud.
So, man.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good, dude.
We don't have to talk, man. I can just sit here with you for a minute.
Oh, fuck. 6 seconds.
I can just sit here. We can just
Nah,
sit
it's
here.
all good, dude. 6 seconds. Just process it. I think it's one of the hard things that people don't understand, like trauma, you know?
Yeah.
Sean also discussed his physical altercation with Dricus du Plessis at UFC 296. Sean admits that he bit Dricus. He continued, there are some things that are off limits. You don't really talk about a man's wife, you don't talk about a man's kids, and you don't talk about a kid being abused. These things are all off limits. Once he crossed that, I tried to fucking ignore it. I was boiling. Whenever Dricus goes on there and he jokes about that, dude, you have no idea. I'll fucking kill you. You have no idea. I think the issue is too, when you're a kid and you're made out to be a victim your whole life, as an adult, you're like, never again. I'll fucking kill you. It's one of the things people don't understand is trauma. People understand when I talk about I'd kill a man. It's like you don't understand. When you go through that level of trauma, you just greet the world differently. I'm so happy they didn't get it from the right angle. I bit him. I shit you not. Whenever he went into me, I remember at that moment he tackles me, and right there, you see my head goes up towards him. I started thinking, how can I hurt this man? I'm going to take a fucking chunk out of him. I'm going to bite his fucking ear off. I remember telling myself at that moment, Sean, you can't do that. That's something you can't walk away from. If you do that, then I'm going to jail. I joke about all this shit. As we're laughing, you've got to joke about it. If you don't, how do you process that kind of abuse? Life's good. I make a lot of money now. I'm happy. So MMAfighting.com reposted Sean's quotes to their Instagram, and Ian Garry left a comment. He wrote, at Sean Strickland, how the tables have turned. You dish it out in the lowest, most vile manner, but can't take a pinch. You attacked my wife incessantly and obsessively calling her a pedophile. It's clear to see your childhood trauma showing. You claimed you were quote-unquote giving me advice before. Well, now it's my turn to return the favor. You should shut your mouth and focus on the mirror because you have enough serious issues you need to solve. I wish you all the best with them. Don't ever project your pain onto me and my family again. Happy New Year. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Chris Danks. It's in reference to Paul Felder telling Islam Makhachev to stay and defend his belt at lightweight before talking about double champ status. It says Felder speaking the truth. Clear your division first. The second one's from Mr. G Floyd. It says Connor's been announcing his next fight since 2021. And the final one's from Big Boy. Says Chandler really let Connor waste over a year and soon to be 2 years of his career time. That's f***ed up. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.